research program, and welcome Dr. Shiiwua Manu, or Manu, as he's universally known. So Manu is currently Director of Flori and Associate Professor of Ornithology at the University of Jos in Nigeria. He obtained his bachelor's and master's degrees in zoology in Nigeria before proceeding to the Edward Gray Institute of Field Ornithology in Oxford, where he gained his DPhil in 2002. And for 30 years he's been working with various bodies, academic, governmental, non-governmental, on various aspects of conservation, particularly in West Africa. And for his many contributions, he received the Marshall Award for International Ornithology, presented by the Duke of Edinburgh in 2014. And we're fortunate that today he's going to share his experiences of working at Flori and all the research being undertaken under his directorship. So please welcome Manu.
Thank you very much. I take this single opportunity to thank the leadership of the African Bird Club for asking me to come and make a presentation about our work at the AP Ornithological Research Institute. I had wished this was another forum and not where Dr. A.P. Laurentius himself was seated, but here we go. Thank you so much.
Just to say hello, my name is Richard Charles. So Nikki, and Simon, thank you both very much indeed.
As the title goes, the A.P. Laurentius Ornithological Research Institute.
So looking forward to that.
14 years on.
Very nicely.
Now, the institute, which is located somewhere on the eastern side of Jos Plateau, central Nigeria, was established in year 2001 by the A.P. Laurentius Conservation Foundation, following an MOU that was signed between the foundation, the Nigerian Conservation Foundation, BirdLife Partner from Nigeria, and of course the University of Jos, that awards the degree program that we teach at the Institute. And of course, the Wing Freshwell from the University of Santander drives the academic program. Now, of course, you are aware, because you are members of the African Bird Club, you know that this is located in Nigeria, Western Africa. And it couldn't be better located, because you also know that it is the biodiversity of Africa that needs protection. Africa is so rich in biodiversity, and at the same time there is a teeming population with its attendant problems of environmental degradation. You just listened to the predicament of the vulture populations in Africa and elsewhere. Now, one objective of the Institute has been to develop local capacity for ornithology and conservation, improve capacity by contributing directly to the knowledge and infrastructure in the region, and training Africans who will eventually be involved in policy and management and advocacy in the region. So the Institute runs primarily an MSc degree program in conservation biology, but of course with a bias to birds. And that degree is awarded by the University of Jos. Now, this program,
I think it's on there.
although the University of Jos runs master's program for at least a year and a half, but our program is run exactly 12 months in any one academic session. And we've been allowed graciously to do that by the authorities of the University of Jos because this institute does not experience any academic staff union strike that you may have read about in Nigerian universities. We get a host of visiting lecturers from all over Europe and the US, and you can't get involved in any strikes. We're very thankful to all of them. Now, the second objective is to facilitate biological research in West Africa. We were talking to a group of people night before last. Very good brothers making fantastic contributions here in England. And one of them said it is not.
This is not the number that... Right.
And for obvious reasons. But our institute provides this facility. And I'd like to say that more than 99% of Europeans that have risked coming to Aplori want to come back again because the facilities are excellent. We happen to be in that part of central Nigeria and locally in the Jos section of Jos where there has been no trouble whatsoever. And the facilities are excellent. And we've been carrying out CES for over 14 years. And by now we've tracked about 2,000 to 25,000 bird species and 7,300 retrials. And of course, we're also looking at the winter ecology of both Atlantic and intra-African migrants. Capacity building still. If you look at the first graph, over the years, since our establishment, we've graduated 84 master's students, and several of them have gone out to do PhDs locally in Nigeria and elsewhere around the globe. And they're making serious contributions, which you will see in a minute. Quite a number of them in this slide, as the captions say, have been all over the place. Notable amongst them is the third photograph on my right, Dr. Mary Moloko. She is now Country Director, Flora and Fauna International in Liberia. Mary, you will hear in the next slide, had a nomination for the first award for her good work. And being all over the place, as you can see, the second row, the last on my right, is Dr. Osir, who is come back to Nigeria after his PhD in Cambridge and is working for the AG Foundation and several of them. I'm sure by now you've been through the slide. Now, here is Mary. She's been so dedicated, not just to bird conservation, but carrying that message to youngsters. Then one of them, who is very well known to BirdLife Africa, is Ademola Ajagbe. He was in the first set that graduated in 2014. He is driving conservation action and policy at BirdLife Africa program in Nairobi. And The other slide is an example of what Glory has been doing locally in Nigeria. Because we were at this meeting looking at the Nigerian National Committee on Human Birds. And 4 of our graduates are sitting right there with me. The others were just listening to us. And they come from various offices. Onoja is the Director of Technical Programs at Nigerian Conservation Foundation. There's a young lady there who works with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, with livestock and pest control services department. And so we're scattered like that in various places, driving policy and taking leadership in conservation management. Now, research contributions. I've got here a list of publications, mainly in Manima. Some of them are additions to the checklist of the birds of Nigeria, some new breeding records, and all of this have come about because Glory has trained people or has invited people to come up and help with the training, and they've been all over Nigeria. And wherever they've been, they brought back records that are improving our knowledge of the birds of Nigeria. Research contributions. I've got 4 photographs of Bannerman's weaver, white-throated mountain babbler, green-breasted bushwright, and Ibadan Malimba, which are birds that you find in heavily fragmented habitats in Nigeria. There's a map that is sandwiched between these bird species. It's a typical structure of the forests, the remaining fragments of forest in southwest Nigeria, where is the range of the
Not too far, you can.
It's the same thing you find on the Ogun Plateau, the westernmost extension of Cameroon Highlands, where white-throated mountain babblers, Bannerman's weavers, and the green-breasted bushwrights are found. And the forces driving this fragmentation, human populations, fire, and so on and so forth. But of course, these birds are there, but they can only be resilient for some time. If this is not controlled, with time, these birds will follow suit like the other species. It's very, very difficult to find now. So this research contribution is being fed back into government offices, government departments that are responsible for the environment. Research contributions still. Species habitat relationship. We're not just looking at African birds. We have palearctic migrants. And here we have a contrasting story of the wind charts on my left, which the graphs tell you that they are happy in habitats without trees. Habitats that look like the photograph below. So the farmers will be quite happy with that. On the other hand, the pied flycatcher prefers habitats with forest. And the message here is very clear. If you look at the NDVI indices, the distribution of the wind chart is inversely related with tree cover, whereas the pied like catalogued habitat with good vegetation cover. So the message is, when you must farm because you need to eat. The general African population depends on farming. But when you do that, leave enough good cover for all bird species described. On rotate contributions scale, here there are two graphs. One is of the African group and inter-African migrants. Earlier than now, we never knew where the African people came from. We didn't know where they went from our location. These birds were tied with satellite transmitters in Florida, and they left. Two birds just came down to southwest Cameroon and remained there. Another bird went all the way to Central African Republic. And all three bird species, for the last 3 or 4 years, have returned to the same locations where they were trapped in Florida. This is very fascinating. Once permitting, we want to try to follow them at least to their stopover and see the sort of the similarities between the habitats. And we were discussing the other day with my colleague that the African people occupies about the same habitat as the European people that have been tagged by the British Trust ornithology. I think one sighting of those two birds,
a very warm welcome to the 22nd annual members day of the African Bird
each other on their
my
way.
name is Richard Giles, and I'm the chairman.
We also tracked wind
Like
charts.
said, it's wonderful to see
I
so
had
many of
no
you.
idea where they came from.
Various
So we put geolocators on them,
tube station, and
and you can see their movement.
late, but
All of the winter populations in that area come from somewhere in Russia.
right at the start, I want to
And they have been
thank the Natural
trapped
History Museum for
this
making
location, and they have come back to the
facility
same location
available to
year
us at
after
no
year.
cost.
So we're getting
Really is
some
second to none
good information and making contributions, not just to the African ornithology,
we're amongst the first
the
to enjoy
ornithology
that.
worldwide.
A particular thanks to Esther Murphy,
We've carried on.
who is our guardian angel.
We're also monitoring
History
movement
Museum.
of
She really makes sure that
other,
everything actually happens and gets this meeting together.
African bird species.
And likewise,
We put
Chris
satellite
Wilcock,
transmitters
looking after the audio visuals today,
some
and
black
again, will bail us out of all sorts
They
of
just do local
problems and
movements
glitches
in
that
Nigeria.
crop up, I've no
We've known
doubt.
that. We have
He will be
geolocators
videoing all
on
the talks.
Aberdeen
And,
talks.
within the next few
We
weeks,
know
those will
theoretically
appear on
that
YouTube.
now they're
Great
back in
source, which means that
northern
those members who
Nigeria
can't be
where
with us
they're
today,
breeding.
and of course,
After the breeding season, they go east,
will have access to our
and then they go south and return. But we have no idea where they stop, what they
One or two
do.
housekeeping
So,
matters. There's a coffee table.
That's
tea
another
table
opportunity.
there.
I may be able to tell you exactly what is happening in
free
the
of charge. So
with
there is
this
a
bird.
pot there which begs for your kind
By the time
donation.
we start
Should
retrieving
you so
information from
wish to
log.
put a few pence in there. to
We're
cover
doing
your
the same
coffee, which we have paid for up front.
erosive bee eaters.
Now, I know that
They have a very
most of
interesting
you will be
distribution.
ABC members, but
They breed
there'll be a few of
in
you
the
who
next,
are not.
1 or 2 months, they'll
encourage
come
you
to
most warmly to
the
consider
middle of
joining
the
us,
night.
especially if you enjoy the day
Huge,
and see
huge,
what we're
huge,
doing
huge
for
colony
African
of
birds.
breeding birds. After that,
We
we'll
also
discuss
have a number of
We have no
sales
idea
items out there, both on the ABC
whether the
table,
same species,
you'll
the
see
same birds
that there are still
come
some
back
limited edition
to
prints
breed
of Martin
in our
Woodcock's
area,
marvellous,
or whether they mix with the other
paintings
population.
and the Madagascar
But with time, we'll be able to
number
tell you
of
very
interesting
precisely.
pieces of merchandise, particularly including a new
You just heard about
2017 ABC calendar, a
the
new
problem of
venture
the
for
voters,
us.
so I won't
John
delve
Kelly has
into
put
that.
together
We're
an absolutely
interested also
splendid piece of
in
work.
looking at
And
other
I strongly recommend
enigmatic
you
species
look
that
at
the
that,
great
your own
electric
enjoyment,
attack.
or to buy a few for
As we
Christmas
speak,
presents and even
one
to
of
sell
our
them, perhaps through
most
your
recent graduates was one of the best.
As always, we are privileged to have Duncan
He is working with Ben,
and
and it was great
of new publications,
trying to look at developing a proposal to look at the evolutionary relationship between the firefinch and the indigo bird, which are both parasites. Studies of the rock firefinch, for example,
the housekeeping, we have, as you can see, we have a raffle for the end of the day.
They heavily suffer from
in fact, you win two. You can
net predation.
An enormous book and
so how can a species with that
finally, in these days, I'm afraid we just have to mention security.
Support
and the rules are simple. We just listen for any PA announcement, follow the exit signs, and then obey the
results.
Instructions.
Of course, we're working with BirdLife Africa to provide
so we give the talks, and I'm delighted to say we can launch straight into the first talk today.
And then advise
the dominant theme of what we're doing today is to look at conserving birds in trouble, the existential crisis currently facing vultures in Africa is to be addressed by our President, Tasso Ventus.
Since 2002,
to be able to introduce him first.
We've been continuously tracking
Tasso is a philanthropist and conservationist of international standing.
And you can see the first graph, the graph on my extreme
Conservation Foundation, Honorary Vice President of BirdLife International, and the Ecological Research Institute. Glory, of course, is set up in Nigeria in 2002 in his name.
On the
He holds honorary doctorates from 6 universities and is an honorary fellow at College, Oxford.
So you don't expect the symptoms here. But the others seem to be fairly stable because serious sites
which he was awarded the CBE in 2004.
Stable and
illustrious speaker to start us.
Every once in a while,
good friend,
suffer fire from Bangor.
Tasso.
And we don't know juvenile recruitment. But beginning this year, we've started to look at the insect populations in the reserve to see if over the next few years we'll be able to relate that with what is happening with juvenile recruitment. We don't just do research and publish. We live in a community that has graciously allowed us to work in this reserve. And we haven't paid. Aploria has no title as far as this facility is concerned. The community said, come pitch your building here, that's the forest, go ahead and do your work. So in return, we do a lot of community support projects, but at the same time, we talk with young children, try to encourage them that by so doing, we might get a few converts. I'll digress here a bit and say, Aploria also hosts at least 4 university undergraduate students each year from various universities across Nigeria for an internship program. And quite a few of them, after their undergraduate degrees, have returned to take this master's degree in Aploria. Some have even gone up to PhD, which is really encouraging. The adults in the communities are also encouraged to, for example, work and use fuel-efficient stoves. So you get little amount of wood and you don't waste on the tragic situation. You don't waste the fuel wood. And you see, they are taught how to do it. We sit back and see them do it, and it's been quite successful. And they are empowered as such.